Hello viewers, today for service and repair I have a breeze-in fan and it just needs a cleaning and a lubrication. Do a test run here. It's running kind of slowly and it spins down pretty quick. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to take this apart, and because this is a mostly all plastic fan, I'm going to just wash most of the parts in the bathtub. Actually, I'm going to take it apart as far as I can. Wash the guard off. Let's see if I can get the blade off here. We can wash the blade. So undo this screw. What the heck? Okay. So I think this is like the only screw in this thing. Whoops. Ugh. And the switch, I will try to pull the switch out. I think it should come. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take a screwdriver and I'm going to just pull that out like that. So we can wash that. And I'm going to remove the motor. Oops. Okay, I'm going to get a new screwdriver. Yeah, the right tools definitely do work a lot better. Okay, pull the motor out of here. Now, I would have liked to have been able to, well, I would like to just pull this whole thing out of there, but it's not going to happen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the base. And I'll wash the base. And I'm going to slip the cord through here pretty far so that I can just wash off the back grill as well. I won't really have to do anything but the motor manually. So, alright, I'm going to go wash those parts and I'll be back. Okay, so all the parts are cleaned. Now to do the motor. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take one of these small brushes and just kind of get all the excess dust off of there. If I had the air compressor on, this would be a good task for it. Okay, that's realistically that's plenty clean. So now what we're going to do is we're going to oil it. Actually, I do want to clean the shaft a little bit more to make sure we get all that junk off of there, because the blade can get stuck on there. There's a lot of junk on there. Okay, and if it's sticky, stuff will stick to it. That's not good. Okay, so my preference in oil is generally Zoom spout, so we'll stick with that. I'm going to add a little bit of oil up on the front bearing here. Now we'll add oil to the rear bearing. And it's not really freeing up much, so we may have an alignment problem. So what we're going to do here is we're going to loosen these screws up a little bit. Actually, they're not that tight at all, which may be part of the problem. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a screwdriver and just kind of bang the shaft a little bit. See if it frees up at all. No, it's still very tight. So what we're going to have to do is clean the bearings, because there's probably some junk in there. Or what's happened is, if they actually did put oil in this in the factory, it has dried up and it's just counterproductive at this point. So I'm going to take, actually I may have a wrench this size. No, but I do have this. It should be this. Will this work? No. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use an adjustable wrench. And I'm going to remove the bearings. I'm going to clean everything out. And now we have a little bit less noise in the video. Is this not working? What's going on here? Alright, this is getting a lot of hand here. What is going on? There we go. Okay, now this is working. Alright. Okay. I really don't always like working on these China motors, because they're not always built correctly, and in most cases they're not built correctly. And looks like the wires are coming off of here, which is just, what is going on? The dog must be causing a problem. Oh, this is ridiculous. You can see here that the wires are held in here pretty much by nothing. Okay, that's fixed. Alright, so now I'm going to pull the bearings out, and what we're going to do here is, it's not too bad. Yeah, it's the rear bearing that's kind of messed up. So I'm going to get a dry paper towel, and actually I can use plays on these. And I'm going to roll it up like this so it's real small. And I'm going to put this through the bearing like this. And this should allow me to get a good clean on the bearing. I'll do that through both sides. Yeah, I can see there is some old oil left over in there. And it doesn't look like it was the good kind. It's probably detergent oil, which is not fair long term in these things. Alright, so that should be pretty good. I'll do the front bearing now if I can. You gotta be very careful when you remove the front bearing because of this junk that's on there can ruin the bearing, but it looks like this should come off just fine. The bushings came off, so I'm going to slide these back on here so we don't lose them. And I'm going to do the same thing with the front bearing here. Doesn't seem to be nearly as bad. Okay, so that should be good enough. Now I will clean off the shaft, and I'm just going to go like this here. Since there's already oil on here, this should work fine. And just get that real clean. And I'll do that on the front side of the bearing as well, although that's not really where the problem is. Okay. Alright, so now I'm going to put the bearing assembly back together. I think these are identical, so it shouldn't matter which one is in the front and which one is in the rear. You can see this is spinning much freer now, which is good. So, slide these back into here. Actually, you know what I'll do? Before I do that, I'll oil this now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to zoom this out just so you can see it better. I'm going to put some oil here. That was kind of more than I was hoping to have come out. Now that's spinning really nicely now. So what I will do is I will do the same thing for the front bearing. Slip this in here and make sure this aligns. And put some oil here. And slip this bearing on. And now I'll put the screws back together, hold this all in place. And then we'll have to align it, because at this point it is certainly not going to be aligned anymore. I really despise working with oil like this because all the tools become really slick. The oil just gets all over the place. Alright, so for these screws, they don't really go super tight. Are we having a focusing issue again? Oh, come on. Really don't want to have to record a blurry video. Good, okay. So I'm going to tighten these up snug, but not really tight to the point where it can't move. They do have a lock washer, so they're not really going to come loose. Or, in theory, they should not come loose, rather. Okay, that's good enough. So now, to align it, because it's very stiff right now, to align it, what we will do is take the screwdriver and just whack it a bit. And you will see it immediately freeze up. So now I will put 2 more drops of oil in here. Oil on the front, just 1 drop, and oil on the back. Again, just 1 drop is plenty. And this is spinning really nicely now. And I'll put the blade on there just to demonstrate. So, there you have it. I'll wipe off the excess oil that's dripping down the motor, because all that does is collect dust. And so you don't really want that on there. Okay, get that off the winding. Alright, so now I will put the motor back in here. And there's actually like oil residue all inside of here, which means that the oil probably just leaked out at some point, which is kind of stupid, but whatever. So I'm going to feed the wire back through here. It's a little bit wet in there, so I'm going to dry that out too. This is all tangled up here. Alright. I'm just going to quickly wipe this out because you don't really want water in there. Partially because water and motors just don't mix, and partially because you could get mold and stuff growing in there. Okay, so that's cleaned. Looks like there's still some water in there in one of the screw holes. No, there's not. Okay. And turn this around and pull the wire through. Stick the shaft in there. And I think I'm going to want to attach the base before I work on the motor, because it will just make it a lot easier if the fan is freestanding. Oh, darn. Yeah, this is certainly not the best quality video I ever produced. Did I put that on the wrong side? No. Okay, so now that the motor is freestanding, I will add the motor screws in there to hold the motor in place. Okay, what's going on here? What the heck? Alright, this is getting out of hand. Alright, now I will put the, dry this off a little bit. Put the switch back in place, and hopefully, I gotta plug this in rather than take a guess at which way it's supposed to go. I don't really like taking guesses and having to redo something. That kind of irritates me, actually. So I'll just put the blade on just real quick for testing purposes. And yeah, I don't trust that China switch. Okay, so the low is to the right, which means it goes in like this. Okay. Close that up. And we're just about done. Okay. Now, for the shaft here on the front, what I like to do is take a little bit of oil, not much at all, just a little bit, and I like to just kind of put that on there. This way, when you go to take the blade off next time, it comes off relatively easily. Alright, let's give it a test. It's running a lot better now, and it's certainly moving a lot more air. And the spin down time is drastically improved. Oh man, this one just broke. I gotta get another. Oh, I have another one over there. Darn it, this is my last one. I have to get another one. But as you can see, it moves a decent breeze. Nothing to write home about, but it's about what you would expect for one of these fans. Alright, that's gonna be it for this video. Thank you for watching. Comment, subscribe, and out.